Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Wedgie Wednesday. I'm Jonathan Riley, and today is going to be a blast. Before we dive into the weird and wacky world of unusual hobbies, let's take a moment to reflect. Did you know that today marks 27.12% of 2025? Yep, that's right. We are 14 weeks and 1 day into the year. 99 days total gone by. 2,376 hours, and a whopping 142,560 minutes. And if you're counting down the seconds, that's 8,553,600 seconds already passed. Time is flying, my friends. How crazy is that? Can you believe it? It's wild how fast time moves, isn't it? But instead of stressing about how fast it's going, let's have some fun with it. Today's show is all about making the most of your time. And what better way to do that than by diving into the world of quirky hobbies. Quirky, hobbies. Now, I'm not talking about the usual stuff. No. Today, we're going full throttle into the weird, the wacky, and the totally unique hobbies that people around the world are absolutely obsessed with. Forget about your usual weekend routines. It's time to think outside the box. Maybe even step into the weirdest box you've ever seen. So, here's the thing. If you've been sitting around wondering what to do with your next 8 million seconds, well, maybe one of these quirky pastimes is exactly what you've been missing. From competitive duck herding to the utterly bizarre world of extreme ironing, we're going to explore the unusual hobbies that people take way too seriously. And I mean that in the best way possible. I know what you're thinking. Who would actually do that? But trust me, once you hear about these hobbies, you might be tempted to give one of them a try yourself. Listen, you don't have to be a professional weirdo. Who really is? But these hobbies have become serious business for the people who love them. They bring out creativity, spark joy, and yes, even build communities. So today is all about celebrating the weird, the wacky, and the wonderfully quirky. Whether you're already a connoisseur of bizarre hobbies, or you're just here for a good laugh, this episode is going to keep you entertained, maybe even inspire you to step out of the ordinary. After all, we all need something fun to pass the time, right? So grab your snacks, settle in, and get ready to discover some of the most strange, fun, and sometimes downright hilarious hobbies you've never heard of. You might just find yourself thinking, hey, I could totally get into that. Who knows? By the end of today's episode, you might even find your next new obsession. So let's jump right in because I've got some weird stories to tell.
The following is rated TV MA and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Welcome everyone to another edition of Wedgie Wednesday. I'm Jonathan Riehle. I'm so excited to dive into today's topic. It's one that's guaranteed to make you laugh, right? Raise an eyebrow, whatever you want to raise. Maybe even spark the thought, hey, I could totally get into that. Today we're talking about the weirdest hobbies out there. The off-the-wall, unconventional pastimes that some people are absolutely obsessed with. From competitive duck herding to the hilariously ridiculous world of extreme ironing, there's a whole universe of quirky, unusual activities that are way more than just fun. They're a lifestyle. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Who would ever do that? Competitive duck herding? Extreme ironing? What kind of world are we living in? But here's the thing. There are people out there who live for these activities. They're not just doing them for kicks. They're passionate about them. These hobbies are their thing. And let me tell you, they're not just out there for fun. They bring joy, challenge, and an awesome sense of community. And hey, as long as it makes them happy, who are we to judge? It's their world, and we are just living in it. Now let's think for a minute. You may not be into extreme ironing or watching rubber duck races, but what if there's a hobby out there that you'd love to try? Something completely different that pushes you out of your comfort zone and gives you a chance to experience life from a totally unexpected angle. Embracing the bizarre can lead to all kinds of new discoveries, creativity, community, and a whole lot of fun. Today, we're going to explore just how stepping outside the ordinary can bring a whole new level of excitement into your life. Who knows? By the end of this episode, you might even find yourself thinking, I think I'll give that a shot. And that's where you come in, my awesome audience. I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried any unusual hobby? Or do you have one of your own that's totally out there? We want to know about it. Drop us a message on social media, or better yet, comment below during the live show. You might just inspire someone else to try something new today. So let's dive right in and take a fun, funny, and sometimes downright weird look at the world of unconventional hobbies. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Don't forget to tag us on social media while you're listening or watching. Use the hashtags Wedgie Wednesday, hashtag Weird Hobbies, and hashtag Unconventional Fun to join in on the conversation. We'll be featuring some of your coolest responses on air, so don't be shy. Let's spread the love for all the quirky, offbeat hobbies out there. Because, your comments and your feedback might be on a later show. Like next Tuesday, or next Wednesday, maybe I'll bring it up and be like, oh, here's what they had to say about this quirky little hobby. Oh, here's somebody else's quirky little hobby that I've never heard of. Let's get some word out there about people's weird little hobbies they do. Make it fun and interesting. Okay, folks, get ready for this one. Let's talk about a hobby that's sure to make you scratch your head. Competitive duck herding. Yep, you heard that right. Duck herding. Yeah, hold on, people. I gotta get the green screen to be staying put when the dog's playing with it. You know how that is. But competitive duck herding. It's exactly what it sounds like. Herding ducks. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Is this some sort of joke? But trust me, it's the real deal. In fact, competitive duck herding is an actual sport where trained dogs help guide ducks through a series of obstacles, almost like an agility course, but for ducks. Picture this. There's a bunch of ducks waddling around, and a dog is herding them through hoops, gates, and all sorts of challenges. And get this, it's not just a quirky pastime in someone's backyard. This is a competitive sport with events and competitions held in places like the UK and New Zealand. They even have national competitions for it. People get together, get their dogs trained up, and have a blast guiding these ducks through various challenges. And I mean, I can totally see the appeal, whether you're an animal lover, a dog enthusiast, or someone who just loves to do something a little bit offbeat. There's something about it that brings people together in the most unexpected way. Can you imagine dedicating yourself to becoming a professional duck herder? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a comedy sketch or a quirky family film, right? But honestly, there's something kind of charming about it. You get to work with dogs, you get to interact with animals, and you get to be outside in the fresh air. It's an active hobby, it's fun, and there's a real sense of teamwork between the ducks, the dog, and the handler. So who knows, maybe your next hobby could be as simple as chasing a few ducks around. You can't say that about every sport now, can you? Alright, now hold on to your hats because we're about to turn up the extreme dial. Next up, we're talking about something even more wild. Extreme ironing. Yes, you heard me. Extreme ironing. I mean, how do you even come up with this, right? It sounds like something straight out of an action movie or a madcap comedy. But believe it or not, extreme ironing is a thing. And it's just as bizarre as it sounds. Here's the deal. The goal is to iron your clothes in the most dangerous, unusual, or bizarre locations you can think of. We're talking about people ironing on mountaintops while bungee jumping, or wait for it, underwater. Yep, people are ironing while scuba diving. I mean, just picture it for a second. You're hanging from a rock face with a bungee cord, and you whip out your iron to press your shirt. It's so over the top, and yet there's a thrill to it, right? It's about adding a dash of adventure to something as mundane as laundry. Why iron in the comfort of your living room when you can do it while you're literally off the edge of a cliff or in the depths of the ocean? These people are all about taking the ordinary and making it extraordinary. Or extraordinary. Can you even imagine the logistics of that? Getting your iron, your board, and your shirt up to a mountaintop, or bringing it down to the ocean floor. And I love it because it's all about the thrill of the task, turning something everyone has to do into a full-on extreme sport. If that doesn't make you want to grab your iron and head for the nearest cliff, I don't know what will. It's funny, right? These hobbies, while totally off the wall, show us that you don't have to follow the crowd when it comes to fun and excitement. Sometimes it's the weirdest, most unexpected things that can bring a smile to your face, spark a new interest, or even lead you to find a whole new community of people who share your wild passion. And who knows, maybe extreme ironing is your next hobby. It's certainly not boring, that's for sure. So what do you think? Could you see yourself trying competitive duck herding? Or maybe you're more of an extreme ironing type. Head over to social media, let us know which of these strange hobbies you'd be willing to try, or share your own weird hobbies with us. Use the hashtags Wedgie Wednesday, hashtag weird hobbies, and hashtag extreme ironing to join the conversation. We might just read your story on a future episode. Alright, so now you might be asking yourself, why would anyone want to pick up a hobby like that? I mean, competitive duck herding, extreme ironing, sounds fun and all, but what's the real appeal? Why would anyone choose to spend their time in these outlandish ways? Well, let me tell you, it's a great question, There's a lot more to it than just quirky activities that make you laugh. Embracing unusual hobbies can actually have some surprisingly positive effects on your life. Let's dive into it. You see, when you step outside of the usual routine and try something totally unexpected, like herding ducks or ironing in the wild, you're doing more than just taking part in an unconventional activity. You're challenging yourself in ways that go beyond just the activity itself. You're pushing yourself to step out of your comfort zone, and that's where the real magic happens. These hobbies encourage you to think differently, to look at the world from a new perspective, and to adapt to situations in ways you might not be used to. It forces you to find solutions, think creatively, and solve problems. Skills that are valuable in every area of your life. Now, here's the kicker. Often, when we push ourselves into new territory like this, we discover hidden talents we never knew we had. Maybe you'll find out you're actually better at extreme ironing than you thought. Or maybe you'll uncover a natural talent for training animals when you try your hand at duck herding. Sometimes, it's not just about the end result. It's about discovering things about yourself in the process. It can open up new possibilities for you, whether it's a new hobby you never imagined, or just a new sense of pride in accomplishing something unexpected. But the benefits don't stop there. When you embrace something unconventional, you're also opening the door to a whole new world of people, passionate, like-minded individuals who are just as into these quirky hobbies as you are. Think about it. Imagine finding a group of people who bond over extreme ironing or join forces for a duck herding event. The world of unusual hobbies is filled with communities that share a deep love for their unique interests. You get to connect, share experiences, swap tips, and learn from each other. And who knows, you might just meet some lifelong friends along the way. All of this happens because you made the decision to step outside of the ordinary. Think about it for a second. This is more than just about the hobby itself. It's about the adventure. It's about the joy of discovering something new. Maybe even unlocking a passion you didn't know you had. It's about the journey of stepping out of the routine, breaking free from what you know, and embracing something fresh and new and fun. And it's about the connections you make along the way with people who share in that joy and enthusiasm. This isn't just a hobby. It's a life experience that can help you grow, become more creative, and see the world in a new light. So why not give it a shot? Why not step outside the box and try something that seems a little bit weird? You never know what you could discover about yourself or who you might meet, whether it's competitive duck herding, extreme ironing, or something else entirely. The possibilities are endless. It's about finding new ways to feel connected, alive, and engaged with life. And honestly, isn't that what we all want? To find joy, creativity, and a sense of belonging in the world? So, what do you think? Are you ready to embrace the weird and the wonderful? Maybe it's time to try something new and see where it takes you. Heck, you might just surprise yourself. But now let me hear from you. What's the most unusual hobby you've ever tried? Or what's something weird you'd like to try? We want to know. Get involved by sharing your thoughts and stories with us using the hashtags Wedgie Wednesday, hashtag Weird Hobbies, and hashtag Try Something New. I can't wait to hear your stories and maybe even share them on air next time. Alright, now it's your turn. I want to hear from you, the amazing, quirky, and fun-loving viewers of Wedgie Wednesday. We've been talking about all these bizarre hobbies, but I'm sure some of you have some seriously unique and funny hobbies that would put even extreme ironing to shame. Whether it's something that makes people stop and say, wait, what? What? Huh? What? Or just a quirky little thing that makes you smile. I want to know all about it. What's the weirdest hobby you've ever heard of? Or maybe even tried yourself? So don't be shy, I'm all ears, and I can't wait to hear your stories. Whether it's something like collecting rubber ducks, or vintage napkins, or maybe you're a rock balancing pro. I want to hear what makes you tick. Or maybe it's something super off the wall like competitive pumpkin growing, or underwater basket weaving. You know, something that makes people do a double take when you tell them about it. Share it with me. Drop a comment below, send me a message, or even post on our social media with the hashtag Wedgie Wednesday. Let's get this conversation going, folks. I want to know all about the quirky things that make you who you are. Maybe it's a hobby that's so obscure, even you can't believe you're into it. But that's the beauty of it. Whatever it is that makes you unique and brings you joy, I want to hear all the details. Don't hold back. Let's hear about that strange collection of tiny shoes, your secret passion for competitive toenail painting, or that hobby of building castles out of spaghetti noodles. Weird and wonderful. Have you ever tried something totally off the wall that you didn't think you'd like, but ended up being obsessed with? Maybe you gave extreme ironing a shot, or tried duck herding, and now you're hooked. Or maybe there's something you've always wanted to try but haven't had the chance to yet. This is the time. If you've always thought about trying something weird, like skydiving while knitting, or doing yoga with goats, now's the time to take that leap. You never know. You might end up discovering a new passion you never expected. I'll be reading your responses, and some of your stories might even make it into next week's episode. Can't wait to highlight some of your amazing quirks, and maybe even share some live reactions from the audience. So come on, let's make Wedgie Wednesday even more fun and interactive. Share your stories. What's that one quirky hobby that makes you stand out? That little passion that lights up your world and brings a smile to your face. I'm dying to know. Let's get this conversation going. Let's share those hobbies that make life a little more interesting and colorful. Don't forget to tag me, and I'll keep an eye out for your stories. I'll be reading some of them on air, and you just might get your quirky hobby featured in next week's episode. So let's have some fun with this, folks. Your weirdness is welcome here. Alright, let's keep those messages coming, whether you're sharing your quirky story or just letting me know what weird hobby you're thinking of trying next. I want to hear it all. I'll be here reading your responses and can't wait to see what you have to share. Remember to use hashtag Wedgie Wednesday to join the fun. Don't forget, your story might even be featured in next week's episode. So keep those comments and messages coming. We're all in this together, embracing the weird and wonderful world of quirky hobbies. Stay tuned. Alright, let's take a moment to talk about why embracing the weird, the unusual, and the quirky can be so incredibly beneficial for us. You see, it's not just about having fun or trying something out of the ordinary. It's about pushing your limits and stepping outside of your comfort zone. When we try something new, no matter how bizarre it is, or how bizarre it may seem, we're not just filling time or adding novelty to our lives. We're stretching our creativity, sharpening our problem-solving skills, and opening our minds to thinking in different ways. And that's where the magic happens. Think about it. The world is full of endless possibilities. Yet, we often find ourselves trapped in the same routine, doing the same thing, falling into a comfortable rhythm. We get used to what's familiar, and that's okay sometimes. But real growth, the kind that sparks change, creativity, and personal development, as we talked about on Motivational Monday, change. This week seems to be a pattern of change. But those things can only happen when we step outside that comfort zone. It's easy to stick to what we know, but when we embrace the weird, That's when we truly start to expand our horizons. Sometimes the things that seem the most strange or out of place are actually the ones that lead to the most rewarding experiences. Maybe you'll discover a new hobby, like competitive pumpkin growing or competitive duck herding, and realize you have a hidden talent for it. Or maybe you'll find a community of like-minded people who share your quirky passions, and together you'll bond over shared experiences and stories. Maybe you'll even find that stepping into the unknown helps you rediscover something about yourself. You never know. There might be an adventure or a life-changing moment waiting just beyond the horizon for the unusual or of the unusual. By trying something weird, we unlock opportunities for growth, learning, and even unexpected friendships. So next time you feel the urge to try something a little unconventional, whether it's signing up for a rubber duck race, attempting extreme ironing, or anything in between, don't hold back. Go for it. The beauty of these quirky activities is that they push us to step outside of our routine, to redefine our limits, and to discover new paths we never thought possible. You might surprise yourself with what you enjoy, or who you meet along the way. And remember, it's not about being normal. It's about being open to new experiences, being brave enough to try something off the wall, and letting those experiences shape you. Whether it's discovering a new talent, facing your fears, or simply laughing at yourself. Embracing the weird gives you the freedom to create a life that's uniquely your own. So let's stop worrying about fitting in and start embracing the things that makes us stand out. Life's too short to play it safe all the time. So why not make it a little more interesting? Let's celebrate the weird, the wild, and the wonderful things we're willing to try. Who knows? The next quirky hobby you dive into might just be the key to unlocking your next great adventure. So go out there, embrace the weird, and let life surprise you with everything it has to offer. Be bold, be strange, and remember, normal is overrated. Let's make life a little more interesting with every weird, wonderful thing we're willing to try. Stay tuned, and let's keep embracing the weirdness together. As we wrap up today's episode of Wedgie Wednesday, I want to leave you with one final thought. Embracing unusual hobbies isn't just about doing something weird for the sake of it. It's about stepping outside your comfort zone, breaking away from the norm, and finding joy in things that might be a little different or unexpected. These quirky passions often bring us a sense of fun, creativity, and most importantly, connection with others who share in that same weirdness. And let's be honest, we could all use a little more of that in our lives, right? Think about it for a second. The world is full of fascinating people, all exploring the unconventional, the strange, and the surprising. So when you come across someone talking about their quirky passion or offbeat hobby, maybe instead of raising an eyebrow or brushing it off, you'll look at it through a new lens. You might even find yourself intrigued by it, wanting to dive in and try something new. Who knows? Your next weird obsession could be just around the corner, waiting for you to stumble upon it. And that might be the thing that sparks your creativity or just gives you a new reason to smile. Thank you so much for joining me on today's Wedgie Wednesday. I hope you had as much fun as I did diving into the weird and wonderful world of unusual hobbies. Remember, there's no such thing as too weird when it comes to finding something that makes you happy and sparks your creativity. Whether you try something like competitive duck herding, extreme ironing, or any other quirky passion, the key is to enjoy the process of exploring what makes you feel alive. We'll be back next week with more fun, more quirky adventures, and who knows, maybe even some new hobbies to try. Until then, I challenge you to embrace the weird, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep having fun with whatever makes you smile. Life's way too short to take so seriously. So why not laugh a little and try something totally unexpected? See you next Wednesday, folks. Take care. Stay weird. And remember, let your freak flag fly high. Don't forget to share your quirky hobbies with me. Use the hashtag Wedgie Wednesday and tag me on social media, Talk Radio, so we can keep the conversation going. Until then, keep the weirdness alive, and I'll see y'all next week. Remember to use some of the hashtags in the YouTube description. Those hashtags can help grow my channel, grow my audience, grow my show. And, it just keeps people knowing what I talk about on my show. Kind of gives people knowledge of the weird stuff I talk about. So, yeah. Thank you very much. I'll see you all tomorrow night on Time Warp Thursday. With a guest, Brownell Landrum. Hopefully, I don't lose this guest. Like last Friday, we had Michael Allison, but he, due to illness, couldn't do the interview, so he's gonna reschedule. Hopefully, Brownell Landrum works out. We'll see. And then Friday, finally Friday. But next week, Wedgie Wednesday. So anything I see about Wedgie Wednesday that you guys post, either you're commenting on here or going to your Facebook and, tagging me and talking about your weird little things, I might comment and talk about it like next week on Wedgie Wednesday. We will see what happens. Have a good rest of your week. Stay weird. Have fun. Be you. That's all that matters. Be you. And that's what I'm trying to do. Be me. I'm going to be me. You be you. And let's have a good time making these shows and, building something special here. Something unique and different and fun and weird and crazy and all that good stuff. So, peace, much love.